Greetings, beloveds. Amy here. It's been a while. I probably should have watched it, but I can't remember what I talked about in the last video that I did, which was months ago. But I will tell you the reason I haven't made any videos since then is because I've been through quite a bit. Not that there aren't some good things going on, but there have definitely been some traumatic things. And I got sick and lost my job, and every time I thought about making a video to talk about what's going on with me, I kind of got overwhelmed about all the things I wanted to talk about, and I didn't want to make too long of a video. I will say, especially in case I didn't talk about this last time, that I do have a new name for my channel, Peregrine Alchemy by Amy, and I wanted to explain the reason for me deciding to make that change. Peregrine alchemy comes from hearing the word peregrine or forms of it used in writing. And, the first thing most people think of when they think of peregrine is the peregrine falcon. The peregrine falcon is named so because peregrine essentially means something kind of like a pilgrim, wandering, traveling, widely traveling. And alchemy comes mainly from the fact that I studied biogeometry so much in the last year, and there's definitely alchemy involved with that. But I have learned that there are so many forms of alchemy that I haven't felt like I wanted to or could limit myself to just one kind of alchemy. So I wanted to give myself the freedom to travel the whole range of alchemical modalities. And so the way I've decided to help myself focus and only hopefully make this video not too long is to do a card draw from my I Ching cards and see what comes up just related to the card that we get, or potentially multiple cards. So I'm just going to take a couple breaths. And I invite you to do the same and drop into this present moment. That's something that's been challenging for me lately. And I would just like to set the intention for this card draw that it speaks to, and it helps me to speak to whatever people need to hear most who will be watching and listening to this video. Okay, here we go. There's a fairly clear one. Let's just make sure there's not another. Whoa, that one's even more clear. Okay, we'll take the two of them. We got 40 and 30. And I can't remember which one actually fell out. It was very eager to be read, but the other one was sticking way out too. So I think they're both appropriate for today. And I would like to just read the very brief description in my little book here. For hexagram 30, it's called the clinging, and it's the symbol or the trigram for fire above and fire below. If you can see that, try to get it to focus. Um, maybe if I put it in front of my face. Yeah, you can see that the two trigrams are the same above and below. Fire upon fire, feeling the inner flame. Fire will not burn on its own, but must cling to the fuel that feeds it. So too does the superior person seek fuel to feed spiritual fire, lest it burn out from neglect. As the flame within grows brighter, it adds its light to the world and improves it. Clinging to what is true and right brings good fortune. That's an excellent one. And 40. Deliverance. Above thunder and below water. So the upper trigram is thunder, the lower trigram is water. Thunder above water, the rains come at last. The thunderstorm clears the air and refreshes the earth. So it is when troubled times end and deliverance is at hand. Release from pressure allows a return to everyday life with a renewed sense of gratitude. Attend to necessary affairs with all possible speed as good fortune approaches. Very nice. I love how sometimes they can even sound potentially with their keynote word like they might not be so good, like the first one, clinging. You might not think would be good at first, but it truly is still good. And what I've learned is that all of them really are good. There are just cycles of nature identified by these hexagrams. So for 40, in many ways, that's how I feel about losing my job. It was like a thunderstrike. It felt traumatic at first, like thunder can seem, but it certainly cleared my life of certain things. I mean, I'd had that job for nearly 8 years, and I was pretty burned out, and I was not enjoying it anymore for various reasons, and I will perhaps talk about those reasons at another time. And I had to do some clearing on myself just to help myself to let go of the attachments to that daily routine, even the things that were bad, I was somewhat attached to. Now that I've done quite a bit of clearing, I'm not saying I'm completely finished with clearing, but I have reached a point where I feel relieved to a large extent. But the one thing that has not been replaced in any kind of way that will necessarily go into perpetuity, which nothing truly lasts forever, right? But I do not have a steady income again yet. I have started another YouTube channel, AC Johnson Bookkeeping, if you'd like to check it out. And I am starting that business, but it's taking a long time, honestly, and I need to get an ad campaign going, but even that's taking a long time. So I think that ties into hexagram 30. I sort of started talking about 40. And I've noticed as I have had this newfound freedom, which can sometimes be terrifying, I have many, many more decisions to make every single day and have to try to prioritize as best I can. And yet, even though my logical mind thinks that maybe certain things should be the priority, I notice that there's a way about life, there's a way about my body, there's a way about nature, and just the flow of the day that more or less dictates what can and I guess should be done that day. It's it's very difficult to make myself do things when that just does not feel like the way of it. For example, with bookkeeping as my new business, there there is a great need to be on the computer a lot. And I can't spend so much time on the computer every single day, day in and day out, and not ache and hurt a lot. So I can tell when I need a break, and I find other things that I need to do and take care of. And that sort of helps me to still feel productive. And, I know I've stayed busy. There have definitely been times when I've needed to pause, when I've needed to take breaks. When I got sick, I had to rest a lot and didn't really work at all during that time for a couple of weeks at least. So I just want to share these things, and I think they're coming up for me to share them with you all in case any of you are going through something similar. Know that you're not alone. Know that it's okay to rest. It's okay to do different things and not do one thing frantically that the world seems to be telling you needs to be done now and all the time until you start making money. I withdrew some money from a retirement account that I was able to accumulate at this job that I had been at for 8 years in order to keep going. I'm able to stay in my house for now, but I don't know how long that will be the case. I like this house, but there are things that I don't like about it too. And I've learned through studying astrology more and studying my own chart more that it was time for this job to end, that I need a job that includes a lot of transformation every day, a lot of changes, a lot of variation. So I'm working on building a life for myself that includes that. And hopefully by embracing the change that is inevitable and incorporating it into my life, I can get some stability out of that. But there are a lot of different ways to make money, and the more I try to do all at once, the less progress I make on any one of them. So that's the reason to focus a little bit more, at least, on one stream first and then another. So that's another reason I haven't made videos lately. I'm very close to having a course finished. For those of you who recall that I wrote a book a few years ago, I have a course that I was making about that book, and it's just not quite finished, and I haven't focused on it to finish it, but I think I may do that soon, so keep an eye out. And please tell me in the comments if there's any particular thing you would like me to make a video about next, perhaps. And if you related to and resonated with the card draw that we did today. Thanks so much for joining me. Namaste, beloveds.